All right, today we're going to dive into one of the most powerful, but honestly kind of invisible forces in personal finance. It's called the wealth curve. And really, it's just that subtle moment in your journey when the whole game flips, when your money suddenly starts working way harder than you do. So, let's kick things off with a really crucial question. Just think about this for a second. Seriously, the answer to this one question, it matters more than any hot stock tip or market prediction you'll ever hear. Why? Because it gets right to the heart of whether you've built a system that works for you or a system that still completely relies on you. Okay, so every great journey has to start somewhere, right? And when it comes to investing, that start can feel, well, let's be honest, it can feel incredibly discouraging. It's that phase where you're putting in all this effort, you're doing the right thing, but the results, they seem almost meaningless. Let's dig into exactly why that happens. This right here. This is probably the biggest psychological trap for any new investor. You look at your salary, right? That's a big, meaningful number you worked hard for. And then you look over at your first year of investment gains, maybe a few $100s. And you just think, what's the point? But here's the secret, and it's a big one. You're comparing two things that have totally different jobs at this stage. See, the truth is, in those early years, your portfolio isn't designed to impress you. It's not there to shower you with cash. Its one and only job is to quietly, almost invisibly, build a foundation. Every single contribution you make, every little dividend that gets reinvested, think of it as just laying one more brick in that groundwork for what's coming later. And this quote just nails the whole idea. Think of your financial journey like an airplane. This early, super slow-moving phase, it's not a sign that something's wrong. Not at all. It's just the plane taxiing on the runway. You're building momentum, you're getting into position, and you're getting ready for the real takeoff. So where does all this taxiing lead? Well, it leads to the most important part of the entire flight, the tipping point. And this isn't some big event you mark on your calendar. It's a quiet, purely mathematical moment where the entire dynamic just shifts. So let's get super clear on what this is. The tipping point is simply the moment the growth from the money you already have, your capital base, starts to matter more than the new money you're putting in from your savings. It's when that engine you've been building finally has enough power to start pushing the plane forward all by itself. So let's look at the early days, say year 2. The picture looks something like this. Your personal effort, right? Those $6,000 you contributed, that's doing pretty much all of the heavy lifting. The market returns are just tiny in comparison. This is the taxiing phase, pure and simple. But now, let's jump forward to year 10. Just look at the difference. Your contribution is the exact same $6,000, but now it's completely dwarfed by the returns the portfolio is kicking off all on its own. Your money is officially working harder than you are. The plane is airborne. The reason so many people miss this whole tipping point is because they're just looking way too closely. If you look month to month, the market feels totally chaotic and random. But when you step back, when you look at the long-term journey, that's when you see it. This clear, beautiful structure of compounding growth, just starting to take shape. So what actually happens once you're past that tipping point? What's it feel like? Well, this is where your entire relationship with money and the markets just fundamentally changes. You're not taxiing anymore. You are at cruising altitude. All of a sudden, a totally normal, kind of boring fluctuation in the market might mean your portfolio grows by something like, say, $8,000. Now think about that. That's a number that before might have been a huge pay raise or meant months and months of hard work and saving. And now it just happens, quietly in the background. And here's the most important part to get. This incredible shift, it doesn't happen because you suddenly got brilliant and made some amazing trade or timed the market just right. No, it happens for one simple reason. The base, that runway you spent years and years building, is finally big enough for normal, average returns to have a massive impact. Okay, so if you want to actually see this tipping point coming, you have to change how you measure your progress. You have to stop obsessing over short-term percentages. Instead, just compare two simple things. Your predictable annual contribution in dollars against the 3 to 5 year average gain of your portfolio also in dollars. When that second number, the average gain, starts consistently matching or even beating the first one, you know you're getting close to takeoff. Which brings us to the most practical part of all this. How do you actually get to that tipping point as fast as possible? Well, the answer might be a little surprising. The best flight plan is actually incredibly boring. You know, the real danger zone isn't right at the start. It's in those middle years. Years 3, 4, 5, when progress still feels painfully slow, the news is full of noise, and it gets so tempting to just pause your contributions. Or worse, chase some hot new trend. This is where most people get derailed. So, the fastest path is also the simplest one. Number 1, automate your contributions. Make consistency completely effortless. Number 2, reinvest all your dividends. You gotta let that compounding engine do its thing. And number 3, avoid interruptions. Every time you stop or pull money out, you're not just hitting pause, you are actively pushing that tipping point further and further away. Let's go back to our airplane metaphor one last time. Your main job as an investor, especially in those early and middle years, is not to be the hotshot pilot trying to do fancy tricks to get higher returns. Nope. Your job is to be the ground crew, diligently, consistently, just expanding the runway, making it longer, making it stronger, so that when those returns do arrive, and they will, they have a massive surface to land on. And really, that's the ultimate takeaway here. That financial engine, the version of you that makes money while you sleep, it's not built with one brilliant genius decision. It's built with boring, simple, repeated decisions made over and over and over again. So I'll leave you with this final question to think about. Just forget all the drama and the noisy headlines for a minute. What is one simple, even boring financial decision you can automate today to start building the system that will one day work for you? Because believe me, that's where the real magic happens.